Alrighty guys, hello and welcome back to the show. Today we have a cast on the cards, going down on Hilly Plateau, 10 by 10 map, good amounts of reclaim all over the map. It is a 5v5, lots of higher level players, but a few players that are around my kind of skill level as well. We're going to call this team 1 up at the top, this team 2 down at the bottom. We're getting into introducing team number 1 first. Starting in the northernmost position, we have Rowan Morris YT. He's going Seraphim. He's opening first land. To his south, we have Trips and Clips. He's going Cybran, opening first land. I'm kind of curious what the origin is behind Trips and Clips. Does he use clipless pedals whenever he's biking, and at one point he tripped because he couldn't unclip? Is that where it comes from? Who knows? We may never know. Next we have Go Get Some, and I'm not going to finish that name. Going UEF. He's opening first land. To the south, on their way out to the middle, we have Cascade, who's going Seraphim, opening first land, and then immediately to the north, we have Robo Daddy, who's going Aeon, and he opened first land. Shifting to team number 2, we've got Beast, who's going Aeon as well, opening first land. To his north, we have Arch Simcat. I have no idea how to pronounce that name, but everybody calls him Arch, so he's going UEF, opening first and second land. On his way out to the middle, we have Vinyl 117, pulling some inspiration there from the Master Chief. We might just call him Chief this cast. He's going Cybran, opening first land. In a lovely red color, in the southernmost player, we have Azuros, who's going Seraphim, opening first land. And last but not least, in the rear, we've got Alfie 123. And he's going UEF, opening first land. It looks like second air with lots of T1 P-gens. Now, as a lot of you have probably noticed, I have disabled the Advanced Strategic Icons mod. The original icons people want the original. What is wrong with me? There was one person in a cast a while back that was like, "Are you having a stroke, man? I'm worried about you because I did the same thing then." Maybe I am having a stroke, but either way, I digress wildly. In the poll that I put out a couple weeks ago now, I was asking y'all whether you wanted Advanced Strategic Icons or the original icons. Pretty much everybody voted for, well, it was actually very close, but the original icons won out. But there was a large consensus that people wanted original icons, but if there was some way to highlight commanders, SMDs, SMLs, TMLs, TMDs, then that would be kind of the ideal scenario, and that's kind of what we got here. So I'm using Penguin's icon mod, built by Emperor Penguin. He's still contributing to my channel even whenever he doesn't know it. And so this is going to elevate the attention to the ACUs, SMDs, SMLs, as well as TMLs. I think the only thing missing is the TMDs. So anyway, let me know if feedback down in the comments down below if this is a good happy medium for everybody, because I think it marries what I really liked about the Strategic Icons mod, but still maintains the original colors that I know y'all were really interested in. And we'll talk about the game now. So several commanders here in the middle, all trying to hoover up as much reclaim as they possibly can. Beast and Robo Daddy seem to have taken the worst of it right now, with Vinyl 117. Shields wearing down on that Mjolnir armor. Although it does seem to be Beast is still getting the worst of it, although there are 3 commanders here. All seem to be focusing in on Robo Daddy, even dropping in a nice little cheeky factory block there. Beast needs to get himself moving though. Needs to get his wee little self moving. And now there are 3 comms in the vicinity. Cascade and Rowan offering their assistance to their badly damaged comrade Robo Daddy. That's going to be forcing Vinyl 117 to back off, as now it would look like the 2 commanders there for team number 1 that are remaining looking a little bit more healthy, and Vinyl 117 dropping into the red there, goes down a factory to try and block. Not working. That seems to be kind of a finicky mechanic. Like, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Is there a gun upgrade somewhere that I'm not hearing? Or maybe it's just Azuros' comm and Cascade's comm firing in rapid succession, but Beast also taking a punishing, dropping down to 3k HP. On the retreat though, Vinyl venturing in pretty close here. Cascade down at 5,700 HP. Vinyl is definitely playing with fire here. Yeah, it is just these two comms almost perfectly in sync to make it sound like there's a gun comm out there. As Azuro's beating in to go get some. Cascade offering him a little bit of cover. As far as commander health, I think Robo Daddy came out the worst of it for Team 1, while Vinyl 117 came out the worst of it for Team number 2. Looked like a relatively even trade as far as I could see, as far as overall commander health between the two teams. Certainly some players fared better than others, with players like Arch getting out of it with barely a scrape, but I think overall, HP for HP, it comes out about even for the teams. As Rowan now going for a run-by on Vinyl's side of the map. It's going to be an interesting matchup here. Rowan versus Vinyl on the northern half of the map. Vinyl being closer to my skill level at 11 or 1,000 to 1,500, somewhere in there, and Rowan being one of the better players in the community. It'll be an interesting one to watch. Although not if he gets ejected. As Arch moving in, Rowan dropping to 2,000 HP. You know, if Robo Daddy had come in, that could have been a nice little comm bomb. As Rowan's little run by does get cleaned up by Vinyl's T1 units, but yeah, Rowan, we will watch your career with great interest throughout this game. He's getting bigger. He's gonna run me over. No! Okay, whoa, that was a weird camera interaction. Alright, gun speed and range coming in now for Vinyl, who has recently gotten the stealth upgrade. Stealth upgrade now does offer a bump in health, so you can see he's working with about 6,000 HP right now. And on the flip side, we have Cascade, who has got a gun upgrade and is going for nano repair, the first level of nano repair. 20% of the way there. And as far as other comm upgrades, I'm not seeing any right off the bat. Those seem to be the two primary ones. As Azuro's tangles with a drop from Trips and Clips. Engineers hurriedly trying to reclaim as much as they can, realize that they are short-lived to this world. Although reclaim orders actually issued. Well, that's going to be that tank going down, but another tank is going to show up. Just a little bit of showmanship there from Trips and Clips, instead of not able to hold on to those engineers. Although, actually, this engineer just continuing to exist down here for whatever reason. Oh, actually captured by Azuros. Well, that's interesting. So Azuros now has Cybern Tech. Greatest technology in the game. Just kidding. It's just my favorite technology in the game. Gun speed range, or gun speed coming in, sorry, for Robo Daddy now. 50% of the way there to that. And Cascade is, I believe, just stalling his way through this nano repair upgrade. Nope, he's not stalling. It's just taking a while. Unless he just had a resource dump. If it was me, I'd be stalling. And then I'd just be finding the nearest wall to smash my head into, begging that the upgrade goes faster. But now that he's got that gun upgrade as well as that nano repair, he's feeling mighty big, mighty powerful. Chewing up a lot of that T1 spam there from Wee Beast. Tinfoil. Melting underneath. I'm actually blanking on the name of the Seraphim weapon. Chronotron Refractor? Yeah, that's the amplifier that increases speed and range. I probably should know that. Just no gun speed and range. I think I know the other ones. We have microwave accelerator for the Cybern, Zeph amp for the UEF, and I'm actually blanking on the Aeon as well, so maybe I don't know all of them. As a Cascade really could go to blows here, I think, with Vinyl, or Wee Beast. That nano and gun upgrade. Is there any artillery in that mix? Okay, there's a little bit of artillery, but it's mostly just tanks. Either way, the comm's safe. As he moves back, throws out a couple of overcharges for good measure. And even has some of his own T1 to fall back on. I think Vinyl needs to be a little bit more careful here, show a little bit more respect to the Seraphim Gun Nano upgrade. As Robo Daddy now getting down into the mix. Vinyl now well and truly outmatched. There's a 2 comms, both with gun upgrades. Wee Beast seems to be the one on the menu. Looks like Wee Beast is back on the menu, boys. Rah! Everybody yells. Everybody's happy, except for Wee Beast. Wee Beast is a wee bit sad as he goes down. And Vinyl actually in not a great position either. Everything's blinding us right now, but I think Vinyl is definitely worse for wear than Cascade. It's Cascade working with 10,000 HP, Vinyl working with 3,000. Does have that stealth upgrade though. Can fall back on that. Trying to do some blocks on the build side of things. And I think Cascade should be able to just commit here and take out Vinyl as well. Vinyl trying to get around that cliff. He's going to be able to get around that cliff. And now there's well, I was going to say a lot, but some T1 coming in, as well as some hoplites from Vinyl, throwing some fire down on Cascade's commander, who is now... Things have flipped, as Cascade is now dropping below 5,000 HP. Zui's coming in from Azuros. T1 coming in from Azuros. A fortunate rank in vet there for Cascade. Don't think there's going to be enough, though, to be able to take him out. Definitely enough to make him think twice, though, about being so aggressive. Although, pathfinding is causing him some problems. There are now Ilshivas coming out. He does have overcharge available. Zuis need to make sure that they stay relatively spread out. As he drops down to 2,700. Needs to deal with that Ilshiva. Actually, the Ilshiva just needs to shoot the commander. Well, it looks like Azuros gonna let him go. Drops down to just under 1,000. And is he just gonna give up here? Okay, so he does have Robo Daddy coming in to help. It looks like he is just gonna make it as the last Ilshiva goes down. And there was a key moment there where the leading Ilshiva decided it wanted to shoot some flak instead of shooting the comm, and that was rough. Incidentally, in all the action, I believe full share is on. Yep. So Arch has inherited the wee little base here that has been vacated by the Wee Beast himself. And that's what I find. A lot of these games that have a big disparity as far as skill level is usually people want full share to be on so that if a lower level player like myself does something stupid, that a higher level player can pick up all of the eco that I have vacated. I see it quite often. As Rowan has secured the northern corner and is now walling off. And Azuros mostly secured the southern portion, although Trips and Clips with a little drop here for T1 engineers. Could go for a little satellite base if you wanted to. But of course, in the air position on this map, you don't have a whole lot of mass to work with. It's slim pickings for the air player. I think you've got, what is it, 5 mexes, I believe? Nope, you do have 6. Okay, so you do have 6 mexes, which is really good. 5 would be major poverty, but even still, 6 mexes, that's not a ton to work with, so you can definitely understand why he's focusing on air production and leaving these engineers hanging out to dry down there for the time being. as Cascade maybe didn't learn his lesson earlier with the just the nano repair and has decided, you know, I can do this with just my commander. My commander is a huge monstrosity. He just needs a little bit better nanites attached to him, and then he'll be great. What is the face on the commander? Seraphim Com? It looks, I don't even know. It looks kind of like a knight. Like a knight in shining armor. Although it's like an alien in shining armor. Whatever you want to call it. Ah, and here is, I believe, our first example of the new icons. So that is going to be a tactical missile launcher. They show up green, although they do have a nuclear symbol. I don't know if the tactical missile warheads actually have any nuclear weapons or if they're just conventional weapons. Judging by the scale in this game, though, where an Athoda is basically the size of the Eiffel Tower, that would make one of these, or taller than the Eiffel Tower, that would make a mix, as well as the associated mass storage. This little area right here is probably about 600 yards by 600 yards. So I guess that would mean that this needs to have some pretty heavy explosives if it's going to take out all of the mechs and the mass storage. Did a video a while back on how funny some of the scaling is in this game. And it makes sense because it's a game, but it's still funny as like a thought experiment. Yeah, if you measured out, like if you take the distance of a map, you have tanks will be going 300 miles per hour or something like that, or maybe it was like 160. I can't remember. The video is about 6 months old. It's on my channel somewhere. I think I put it out in August of 2021. As we now have a gunship dealing with a run-by there from Go Get Some, who's looking to go get some, and baby, he found some. Although Some is moving away. Okay, nope, Some is coming back. That's the new gunship's name. The new gunship's name is Some. I feel like I could definitely make a How I Met Your Mother joke here. This being some bitch. My grandmother calls them some bitches. Or is it I call them? I'm a bad sitcom fan. I liked How I Met Your Mother. I also liked the ending. I don't care what all of y'all say. As we have two players that are now in the air game with Rowan as well as Trips and Clips making plays for T3 Air. I think Rowan mostly just looking to build the Great Wall of Rowan up here and then just eco back behind it. How many mexes do we have at T3? It's T2, 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 and a couple T3 mexes, or one T3 mex in his base. So making the jump to T3 right now. And then as far as eco goes across the board, Team 1 leading the pack. They're leading the game by a little under 20,000 total. Which is good considering they've still got all 5 of their players. Whereas Arch is having to pull double duty here. Play both sides of the map. Actually, we've seen Alfie not sitting still in the rear guard air position, actually making T2 land and moving out forward. So who is playing air for team number 2? Oh, that would appear we have Arch actually playing air. So we got Wasps out, he's at T3. He's got his air grid going right here, going for Ras on his commander. And saying that they're two T3 air players. Vinyl responds with a very enthusiastic, "I'm on it, sir." That's all you had to say. That's all you had to say. I'm in it. I'm in it. I'm in it to quit it. It's probably not what he's saying. He's probably not in it to quit it. As Go Get Some is still going to go get some. Although he might have gotten more some than he wanted to get. So that is a healthy amount of Othams as well as Ilshivas and Zuis. They could definitely focus down the commander. I'm not quite sure why they're not. as this might be it for Go Get Some. This Go Get Some might have gotten more than he could have, more some than he could have dealt with. As Azuros actually losing all of his Ilshivas and his Othams to overcharge. Still has Zuis in the mix, but definitely not ideal, as that might be another kill that goes down due to poor target prioritization. And that is a strat that is out. We got a Revenant out from Trips and Clips. Incidentally, if you were curious about Cascade's self-improvement plan, it's at 90% to advanced nano repair. The strat is using tactical nuclear weapons on Zuis. And then we've got Robo Daddy in the middle, carving the lanes up against Alfie. Needs to keep his units moving though. Let's have, what are those? Okay, Obsidians. Robo Daddy resetting up shop. Good amount of reclaim there in the middle as well. Everybody has pretty much picked the reclaim clean though, with the exception of a couple of spy plane wrecks that have died over Arches and Azuros and Alfie's bases. Relatively quiet though right now. 20 minutes into the game. Team 1 though, continuing to widen their lead as far as eco goes. Coming up on a 40k mass advantage. I'm going to take an opportunity here to crack my knuckles. Oh, that sounds good. Feels good. Oh, yes. I don't have to move the mouse a whole lot. And Trips and Clips on the ball with reclaim. He had those engineers ready. Although, okay, there they go. I was like, they're ready. They're just saying, put me in, coach. I'm ready to play. And now going for T3. So Cascade going for the ultimate Chungus commander that he can possibly manage. And we've got Nathoda is about halfway done for him as well. So definitely going for much more of a late game play, as Alfie and Robo Daddy, I believe the two lowest rated players left in the game, tangling here on the front line over some of this reclaim. Alfie saw Trips and Clips grabbing some of that reclaim and said, no sir, not on my watch. Strat's gonna take a whole lot of Blackfire though, as it comes in there for a little bit of a bomb and run. Everything has gotten semi-passive here. I do like the icon mods. I do like this icon mod though. It does make it relatively easy to see where the commanders are. So I'm kind of digging this happy medium so far. Like I said, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. And I've been able to pick out things like TML. It would have been embarrassing if that wasn't a TML, but it is in fact a TML. As we are now up to over 50k total mass accrued. So team number 2 really starting to struggle here. As far as chip leader goes, that might be Arch because he's sitting on 2 bases. We'll wait till the scoreboard cycles around again. He definitely has the most reclaim. I think he has the most total mass generated, so he's sitting there at 235. Next would be Rowan at 228. After that, we've got Azuros at 148, and then everybody else is right at about 100. So before things kick off again, actually wait. Cascade has finished his self-improvement project and is ready to drop his whopping titanium testicles onto the chopping block. That's not a visceral image for all the men that watch my channel. I don't know what is. He goes for a radar as well as a shield generator. So he's just firebasing right now. I got blue balled there, speaking of testicles. Although, Ithoda, on its way out to the front, that might just give him that testosterone boost that he needs to overcome the erectile dysfunction order that he seemed to be suffering from by firebasing, and push his way into the middle. Oh boy. I'm telling you, I get more racy with every cast. Alright. Fatboy from Arch closing in on 2/3 completion. And he's going to need that here in a second to be able to respond to this threat coming in from Cascade. As Cascade is walking in like a big dick in a locker room with two shield generators and literally nothing else except for an Ithoda coming in behind him. But he's rolling over point defense. He's taking out mass extractors. He's feeling good. He's loving life. As Azuros begins to scramble his units to the west. And here we go. Now we got some support coming in from Cascade's own units, as well as RoboDaddy making a move. RoboDaddy making the jump to T3 land, has some Harbingers. Has the Harvey army from Arby's. And where's the Fatboy? Alright, Fatboy is going to be done by the time the chicken gets in. We do have some Harbingers as well from Arch. Fatboy finishes up. Fatboy opens up on that chicken. Which has all sorts of weird connotations if you think about that sentence. So many sentences I thought I would never say as I've casted this game. Zero's getting his own experimental up. That is a chicken of his own. So we've got a chicken and a Fatboy banding together against a much more damaged chicken. Ravagers, as well as Oblivion point defense going to town, and that chicken is going down. Ion Storm might do a little bit more damage. Where is Cascade's commander? Cascade's commander is now well and truly encircled by T3 units from Azuros on one side and a chicken from Azuros on the other side. Azuros moving in, sensing blood in the water. Cascade has definitely overextended and overstayed his welcome. No amount of nano repair going to save that man from getting evicted from this game. He does take out, I believe, a healthy chunk of Azuros' T3 units, actually most of them, if I'm reading this correctly. But that base is going to go to, drumroll please, I'm going to call Rowan. Oh no, it went to Trips. Trips and Clips, who incidentally has a strategic missile launcher. That is what the SML looks like, not to be confused with SNL. Otherwise we'd be calling for much more cowbell on that SML. But it is a strategic missile launcher, not a strategic nuclear launcher. Otherwise we would need cowbell. But in this case, all we need are more nukes. More nukes, more nukes. I'm losing it, I promise. Eventually, one of these casts, you guys are gonna see me crack on video. And yet somehow, even in my insanity, I will still figure out a way to edit, rebalance the audio, and make a bunch of changes, and then still upload it to YouTube with a thumbnail. That's gonna chase off a lot of Alfie's T1, T2 units that have marshaled here. Alfie focusing primarily on T2. Doesn't have a whole lot of eco. It looks like Arch even actually took one of his mexes, which is nice of him. Good guy, Arch. Rowan working on an Awasa in the back lane and starting on, I believe this is Rowan's at least, got plans for Quantum Gateway of the Cybran variety. Curious where that engineer's coming from. Coming from Trips and Clips. See if that engineer trips while he's getting unclipped. on the way to Rowan's base. Win air, we win game. Sometimes. That's sometimes how that works. Not all the time, though. Sometimes if you win the air, you lose the game. Or if you win air temporarily, like happens so many times in my game, and then some of your friends that you play with decide that they don't want to play land anymore and get into the air game against you and the other air player, and then you find yourself double teamed or even triple teamed. And by you, I mean myself. This happens to me a lot. It was a meme there for like a solid 6 months. Alright, Owasso has now finished. We'll see what Rowan wants to do with it. Let's look at what our ASF count looks like. So trips and clips, working with 16 of the Seraphim variety and 69, nice, for the Cybran variety. Let's switch over to Arch, who I believe is the only air player. He's got 90 wasps of his own. As we now have the chicken from Azuros and the Fatboy from Arch tearing into another chicken. It's like an obese child going to a cockfight. Is that Athoda going to go down? Both players going to lose their Athodas. The Owasso coming in over the top. I think that bomb was intended for the T1 units there for Azuros, and he's going to make a quick U-turn as both air players posturing. Cybran, of course, having the advantage of that stealth ability, but Rowan puts his ass washer in a place where nobody should put their ass washer, and that ass washer just gets destroyed by wasps. And Arch actually taking a pretty good turns here against trips and clips. Really good turns, actually. As Arch is going to clean up air. What a turn. Taking out the ass washer, giving it the old stingaroo, and taking out the Gemini. Great turns there from team number 2's air player. That, of course, leaves a healthy chunk of reclaim, though, on team number 1's doorstep. Checking our reclaim calculator here, we've got a little over 100,000 reclaim between the 2 chickens and the ass washer. And trips and clips now with 2 fat boys on the front line. It's actually not trips and clips. Let's go get some bitches. He's probably asking for cookies. I don't know. This is when I find out that it's not even cookies in that TV show and I'm remembering it all wrong. And it was something like, I don't know, celery. Or mushrooms. And not the hallucinogenic kind, just the regular mushroom kind. Although I learned recently that all mushrooms, I believe, have some hallucinogenic properties, even the ones that you can get at the grocery store. And to test this out, I bought some regular mushrooms. I did like a steak and mushroom saute as these 2 fat boys are tearing into T3 units of Azuros, as well as the fat boy for Arch. Yeah, Arch's fat boy getting double teamed by 2 other fat kids. Sorry, fat boys. And go get some bitches. Gonna be able to clean up Arch's fat boy there. But anyway, as I was saying about mushrooms, which I think is much more important than whatever's happening in this game, I went and got mushrooms, sauteed them, put them over a little bit of a steak. It was a nice dinner. I was splurging with the wife, and I had like the most insane dreams that night. So yeah, did a little bit of research. Apparently, even your regular grocery store mushrooms have some mild hallucinogenic properties. So the more you know. How did we get on that topic? Mushrooms and hallucinating? How did we get there? Oh yeah, that's right. It was yeah, some bitches to celery to mushrooms to hallucinations. That's how my brain works. It just goes on all these tangents. I have AD something or other. Can't remember what that disease is. Meanwhile, Tech 3 on the way for Chips and Clips, and another ass washer out for Rowan. Chips and Clips trying to rebuild his Air Force, but as far as air superiority goes right now, it's sitting firmly in Arch's hands. Team number 2 just need to figure out a way to exploit that advantage. And we're starting to see some SMDs pop up from Arch and Azuros. That should cover a good amount of... Alfie as well as Vinyl. Yeah, so unless Rowan goes and builds one like up here, team number 2 is safe as far as their primary bases are concerned from the SMD for Chips and Clips. Although that SML is loaded, and okay, that SMD is loaded. That SMD is loaded. Okay, I got excited there for a second. I thought I might get to mimic that Guile cast with the nuke not be the SMD not being loaded. As Rowan gonna lose another ass washer here. Getting maybe a little too cavalier, although Arch diving very deep for that kill. And then withdrawing over a ton of AA. He lost a shitload of ASF there in that engagement. I don't know if that was 100% worth it. Probably could have waited until the Oasa came out for another run instead of taking that fight over enemy territory. It looked like there was a lot of flak somewhere that just absolutely decimated his ASF in one of these bases. I think it was these mobile AA cannons. Maybe not. Maybe I'm insane. I'm probably insane. Alright, 3 fat boys now for go get some bitches who needs to actually go and get some bitches. If you're wondering why I now have no problem saying his full name, it's because YouTube puts regulations on what I can say in the first 2 minutes of the video, but doesn't give a shit fuck about what I say in the rest of the video. Because corporate governance. Although I guess I'm kind of part of corporate governance at my company, so... Self-burn. High five. Okay. Eco-wise, it's looking worse for team number 2. Team number 1 now about 70k mass up. And getting some Clinkhammer defensive installations here for Arch. Undoubtedly concerned about the fat boys that are going to be encroaching. It's going to give him a nice little exclusion zone. I can select him to about here, which is, I believe, longer than the Fat Boy's range. Yep, so the Fat Boy is going to have to start taking artillery fire before it can shoot back at the said artillery. Meanwhile, got gunship production coming out from Vinyl now, who has made the jump to T3 Air. It seems to be focusing entirely on gunship production instead of ASF. It appears that Arch is... Oh no, he's actually making some ASF. He might be giving them all to Arch, though. Not sure if Arch has any... Yeah, he does. So this is a Cyber and UEF coalition here, as far as ASF go. Fat Boys now getting into range of some of the forward units there for Arch. Little T1, poor little T1, T2 units didn't even know what hit them. It was a Fat Boy from long range.
Strategic launch detected.
And now we finally have a nuke launch. Okay, I was wondering when that was going to happen. Very close to a second as well. And go get some bitches. Now I think finishing his 4th Fat Boy. Starting a whole little family up there. And that is going to be landing on Azuros' forward factories. Azuros really reading really reading the room there pretty well, moving almost all of his units out of range. He's going to lose a handful of, I believe these were Zuis. But it does keep his chicken in one piece, which is definitely good. And we'll see what Trips and Clips wants to do with that second nuke. As Rowan and RoboDaddy now on the move on the northern side of the map.
Strategic launch detected.
Rowan Morris was quiet for a long time outside of the Awasas. That second nuke actually going for the forward firebase there for Arch. And Vinyl being forced to back up from this GC as well as the T2 units that has in tow. Although the Strat out from Arch taking care of a good number of them. Arch going to lose that entire forward firebase. So after we talked about mushrooms for a solid 10 minutes, now we're back to full-scale warfare again. As gunships now coming in from Vinyl to try and deal with this GC. We do have a Fatboy from Arch in the background laying down cover fire, as well as Percival's from Alfie. That's going to be a lot for this GC to deal with. There is T3 Mobile AA. We have some Redeemers in the back line. That's going to be helpful as far as dealing with the gunships. And actually, the gunships pulled off for a second, but here comes Trips and Clips Air Forces, newly replenished, ready to deal with Arch. And I don't think Arch was ready for this many ASFs this quickly. Trips and Clips splits his Air Force. Gets a bad turn on one of them, gets another pretty poor turn, and is forced to bug out to the north. It's going to leave the GC without any air cover, and between the bricks and the point defense, it's going to mean that GC is going to go down. Although they still have to deal with the Fat Kid family that is moving in from the north. I'm comprehending how quickly I'm going to get banned from YouTube for this cast. I think I say that in every single cast. It hasn't happened yet. Maybe I need to push the envelope a little more. So we've got Quantum Gateways now coming up in the back line. And, we've got a Disruptor that is coming up now for Trips and Clips. And, we already have a Hovatham up for Rowan. So that's what Rowan's been doing with his resources. Also has a Megalith up. And at about 300k mass up, you would expect to see nothing less. Arch losing his entire air grid from that artillery shell, and we do have an answer here coming in from Azuros. Hovatham of his own nearly up, but Azuros also having to deal with go get some bitches coming in from the north as well. With all those fat boys, only one chicken to stop them. Gonna need some gunship support there from Vinyl to be able to hold that off. And Arch's Fat Boy is gonna have to be working overtime here as forces are marshaling from both teams. Got the Mega that is on its way to the front line. Got another GC nearing completion. Wondering if we were going to go for another Fat Boy, but it appears that Mom has gotten tired of having kids, so there's going to be it's a family of 4, which is incidentally how many kids are in my family, so how very fitting. Yeah, if you guys didn't know, I'm the oldest of 4. If my siblings ever watch this cast, they will probably shake their heads in disgust. None of them play Supreme Commander though, so odds of them watching the cast are pretty small. Although now that I think about it, my brother did pop up in the comments section of one of my videos. Oh man, Ethoda taking huge amounts of artillery fire, not even going to get in range. Gonna have to pull that back. But artillery installation is up there for Azuros. Needs a lot more shielding though, as Azuros loses nearly his entire base. And his commander kind of took that shot to the face as well. As Tech 3 power generators going critical. Apparently actually does release quite a bit of energy. I had somebody who I believe is much more learned in the field than I am weigh in on one of my previous casts and said, nope, they definitely release a lot of energy whenever they go boom. Or whenever they, if they explode. But does get a shield up. I think there are two artilleries now working as the disruptor comes online. And last shield down at 35%, 20%, and it's down. Needs to get another one up quickly. Try and save the day there. Keep that Hovatham alive. I think that's their only hope. And okay, their hope just got dashed to pieces. As another artillery shell comes in, and I would imagine that they're now destroying the reclaim, as there's now only 12,000 reclaim here. Although I'm not sure how much is usually in those. I feel like it's more than 12,000. 12,000 seems pretty low. What is that, like 6 Percivals? Something like that? 3 Percivals? I can't remember. I should know this. I'm the science guy. Duelist, the science guy. Duelist, duelist, duelist. Come up with my own theme song. No copyright infringement intended. It's okay, we've got Fatboy. I believe this is Alfie's Fatboy, actually. Even without advanced strategic icons, those colors can blend together. Just kind of the nature of the beast here. No, I'm positive I do not have it on. I double checked. I deleted the directory and reinstalled the game. But that Fatboy doing a nice little job creating an exclusion zone. Galactic Colossus first on the menu for the Fatboy, although needs to start moving that back. GC's about to get into range. With the Megalith now coming in through the north as well. Gonna cause some problems. Air transport with engineers. It's an optimistic drop. As Vinyl now the focus of the artillery fire from Rowan, gonna lose all of his hives. And Fatboy's moving in now from go get some bitches, and things are starting to get pretty tight here for team number 2. Megalith should go down here, I believe. That's a healthy amount of whalers. It's Rowan calling for some air support here. Trips and Clips making a move over. Arch and Vinyl likewise making their move. And Trips and Clips actually electing to fight air instead. Takes a bad turn. Does lose some unnecessary ASFs there. Vinyl there to help as well. Trips and Clips struggling in these air engagements against Arch. Arch doing a really good job at catching Trips and Clips off guard here, but Galactic Colossus making it into the base. There is that Fatboy there from Alfie. Is going to be able to take that GC out, I think. That with the Whalers coming in from the north after they took out that Megalith. Although we do have Redeemers in the mix. They'll lose a couple of Whalers. Though I think the big problem here is Zeros is potentially out of this game here in a handful of minutes as soon as the Fat Kid family decides it wants to move in. Artillery not able to make it through Arch's shield. Very comprehensive shielding there from Arch Simcat. I have to put a lot of effort into that every time I say it. But as the noose tightens on Azuros' base, That is not what you want to see whenever you're looking out of your base, seeing 4 Fat Boys rolling over the hill. But imagine that Team 2 is... I don't think that they have very many options left. I'm not seeing a nuke. Not seeing any artillery. There was a Duke that was under construction there from Arch, but things are just getting too tight here as the artillery now starting to break through even his shielding. And Azuros' base now beginning to crumble under the pressure. It's kind of mesmerizing watching Fat Boys fire artillery. I don't know. It's just... It feels so absurdly fast that you could fire shells like that so quickly, reliably, forever, and never have to reload.
Strategic launch detected.
That is another nuke that is coming in. I think all of the SMDs are now taken out. Arch no longer has his SMD, and this might be the straw that breaks the camel's back here, as Vinyl does finish a Soul Ripper, but that nuke going to land. It's going downtown. It's going after Vinyl. It's going after Arch. Ba-boom. I am not sure what just happened to the game there. A weird graphical glitch. It's probably just my graphics card dying. No big deal. As Azuros inherits everything, the exception of a little bit of whatever is left of Alfie's base. Where's Alfie's commander? I'm missing it. Oh, here it is. Okay. It's building an optimistic Fat Boy. Where is Azuros' commander? Azuros has decided to go the way of the king and die with honor. And Alfie control K soon after. Alrighty, I had a lot of fun with that cast. A little bit of a slower game, but it allowed me to talk about some stuff. Talk about some random stuff. I don't know. I don't get to do that a whole lot. I get too wrapped up in what's going on in the game, and y'all don't want me to talk about what's going on in the game. Y'all want me to talk about the hallucinogenic properties of mushrooms. I know why y'all come here. You know why y'all come here. Anywho, all right. If you guys haven't already, like, comment, subscribe. If you're on a binge of my channel, consider subscribing, especially. There are a lot of new people coming into the channel, and y'all just burn through all of my casts. So if you're on a Duelist binge right now, which sounds like a weird thing to say, go ahead and consider dropping the channel a like, or the video a like, and subscribing. I don't ask for it a whole lot, but I would really appreciate it. That's it for now, guys. Thanks so much. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.